the sigh before the abyss. There is an exact moment, silent and almost imperceptible, when everything changes. The body, tired, sinks into the mattress as if gravity has grown heavier. Breathing slows. Eyelids grow heavy. The mind, once restless, begins to slip between memories of the day and images that appear without asking permission. And then, something happens. Something no one teaches. Something not found in books. It's the sigh that comes before the abyss. In that moment, a crack opens between the visible and the invisible. You don't hear it open, but those who felt it, they know. It's like a warm breeze brushing your face, even with the window closed. Like an echo rising from your chest, whispering, "There's no turning back now." You don't consciously notice it, but a part of you knows. The part of you remembers. Your hands relax, your muscles release, time disappears. And while everyone around you thinks you're simply asleep, you begin to dissolve. Not tragically, but gently. Like a drop returning to the ocean. Like a soul slipping from the body with the ease of someone who's done it thousands of times. Reality begins to unravel like smoke. Objects lose their solidity. Walls vanish. Sounds distort, and what was once silence becomes language. You feel a soft humming inside your head, a pulsing in the middle of your forehead, a shiver down your spine, even under blankets. And then they appear. Flashes, fragments, disjointed scenes. A face you've never seen, but swear you know. A place that feels familiar, yet doesn't exist on any map. A word you don't understand, but that hits you like a forgotten name. This is the threshold. The moment when consciousness lets go of its anchor to the physical. When you begin to sink or rise. It depends on the direction of your soul. Out there, the world goes on. But inside you, portals begin to align. And what seems like simple sleep may be something much older. A secret ritual. A silent contract between worlds. Maybe sleep was never just rest. Maybe it's the most elegant disguise for a dimensional journey. Because before it all begins, there is always that moment. That first invisible step toward the abyss of the unknown. And what if what you call sleep is actually a daily rite of passage between worlds? The secret code of night cycles. While you sleep, a sacred choreography begins. Without you noticing, your body dances with the universe in invisible cycles. Every brainwave, every shift in temperature, every micro-muscle contraction is a step in an ancient dance. They call it sleep. But the ancients knew. This is the moment when the veils grow thinner. When the soul can go out to breathe the air of other realities. It all begins with the shutting down of the external world. The frontal cortex quiets, logic fades. You stop being a name, an ID number, a profession, a past. You return to being essence, spark, vibrational field. Your brain waves descend from beta, the waking state, and begin to touch the realms of alpha, theta, and finally, delta. Each frequency is a doorway. Each doorway, a realm. When you reach deep sleep, something opens in the invisible. The auric field expands. The energetic body pulses with more freedom, as if released from the chains of the physical. That's when the subtle body, your other body, awakens. This body doesn't need eyes to see, or a mouth to speak. It moves by intention. It travels through emotion. It creates with thought. It is ancient, wise, and it knows paths your rational mind would never dare to trace. Through it you cross over. You visit worlds where time is malleable, where space is a symbol, where colors have flavor and sounds carry memories. But few know that this process follows subtle codes, that each entry into the nightly cycles follows a hidden geometry, a map imprinted on you since birth. These cycles, REM, NREM, phases of muscle paralysis, thermal oscillations, they're not just physiology, they are ritual. Each of these phases is like a train station, and your soul gets off or boards depending on what it carries within that night. If you fall asleep in pain, the station will be dense. If you fall asleep in gratitude, the tracks shift. But the most precious detail is this: you don't just visit these stations. You go on living within them. Yes, you keep existing, feeling, thinking, interacting, only in another layer of reality, in a place where time doesn't follow clocks, where space doesn't need a floor, and where the stories you live at night are often more real than the ones you repeat by day. In that other body, you continue living, just in another dimension. The mist bridge between worlds. No one sees the bridge. It's not made of stone nor of light. It's made of mist, and it only appears when everything you think you are begins to unravel. This bridge has no name, but you've crossed it thousands of times. Not with your feet, but with whatever pulses behind your closed eyes. With your center. With what you carry even when everything around you fades away. It appears at the exact moment the mind lets go of control. The instant when thought stops running and starts to float. That's when the crossing begins. The feeling is strange. Like falling without fear. Like flying without wings. Like remembering something you've never lived, but that lives inside you. The bridge stretches through you, and at the same time, it takes you beyond. Lights float around you, sounds that belong to no known language, but touch the heart like forgotten songs. Shapes that mold themselves to your emotions. Sometimes a forest, sometimes a silent desert, sometimes an endless sky. You sense presences, not people, not shadows, consciousnesses. Some watch from afar with reverence. Others draw near, as if they've been waiting for you for a very long time. And then comes the silent question, what am I doing here? But that question doesn't need an answer, because the soul knows the path. It has crossed this bridge in other lives, on other nights, in other bodies. Every step you take, even if you don't remember it upon waking, is part of a greater journey. A journey too vast for just one lifetime. And the mist around you begins to thicken. It's not a threat. It's protection. It hides from you what you're not yet ready to see. You must forget time. Forget your name. Forget even why you came. Because to truly cross, you must empty yourself of fear, of ideas, of identity. The bridge does not carry those who resist. It only bears those who allow themselves to dissolve. And in that silent surrender, you begin to feel. The crossing is real. The other side exists. And it's already waiting for you. But not everyone who crosses returns with the memory of what they saw. But not everyone manages to come back with the memory of what they witnessed. Invisible territories of the soul. On the other side of the bridge, there isn't a place. There is a vibration. You don't arrive in a world. You tune into it. Every territory you visit during sleep isn't outside of you. It is created or revealed as your soul vibrates. If there is pain, you'll be led to fields of healing. If there is longing, you may reunite with what you thought was lost. If there is dormant wisdom, portals of learning open. These worlds have no signs. There are no maps, no tour guides. There is only the language of feeling. Some dream of floating gardens where the wind whispers answers. Others of silent cities, made of crystal and mist. There are temples where light pulses in the shape of geometry. Mirrors that reflect not your face, but forgotten memories. Each territory is a reflection of who you are, or of who you're trying to become. And in this subtle realm, encounters are common. Souls that knew you before you were even born. Beings of light who don't speak in words, but touch your energy field with a single gaze. Presences without form, but who carry a peace you've never found here. There are places that heal, places that reveal, and places that test. Everything depends on your state as you fall asleep. The frequency of your heart opens specific doors. Your intention is the compass. Your fear, a veil. Your surrender, the key. You may be taken into a golden sea where every wave sings your story, or wander through a living forest, where each tree holds a secret about your soul. Nothing there is random. Nothing is just scenery. Everything is symbolic. Everything responds to what you carry inside. Sometimes, you return with a vague memory, a color, a symbol, a name that makes no sense, but haunts you all day. This is not just a dream. It's an echo, a trace of the crossing. And the more awake you are during the day, the deeper your soul can travel at night. Because sleep is not an escape. It is expansion. And if you learn to see with the eyes of feeling, you'll realize you've been traveling through these invisible territories since before you were born. And the more awake you are, the farther you can go. The beings who watch you sleep, you believe you're alone when you fall asleep, but you're not. In the silence of the night, when your breath deepens and your body lies still, something else awakens in the room. Not shadows, not ghosts, presences. Presences that have always been there. You may have already felt them. That strange sensation of being watched, even with the door locked and the house in silence. An unexpected chill down your neck. A subtle weight in the air, as if it thickened for just a moment. These beings don't intrude. They visit, or rather, they accompany. Some come out of love, others out of duty, and some come simply to observe. Mentors, ancestors, spirit guardians. They draw near when the ego sleeps, when the mind's defenses fall and the soul becomes accessible. Sometimes they simply touch your energy field to cleanse it. Other times, they whisper ideas in the form of dreams. And on rare occasions, you see them. Just a glimpse. At the end of a dream corridor. Or standing at the edge of your bed, with eyes that don't belong to this world. But not all presences are gentle. There are intruders too. Dense forms, drawn by unresolved emotions. They don't come to harm, but they feed on what you leave unhealed. Insecurity, guilt, sleeping anger. They don't create pain. They only amplify what's already there, hidden. But there is protection. There is always protection. Your vibration is your armor. Your purpose is your light. And your consciousness, even while asleep, emits a glow that many of these beings recognize and respect. They know who you are even when you forget. And many of these encounters, even the difficult ones, are ancient pacts. Soul agreements made to teach, to mirror, to provoke transformation. You don't sleep in a room. You sleep in a field. And that field is alive, pulsing, interacting. All around you, there are eyes. Some familiar, others unknown, but all there for a reason. Some have been waiting for you for lifetimes, waiting for you to awaken, not just from sleep, but from the illusion. Some have been waiting for you for lifetimes. The forgotten mission within dreams. Not every dream is just a dream. Not every dream image is a fantasy of the mind. Some dreams are callings. Callings to something you promised before you were even born. At night, when the body rests and time dissolves, your soul moves freely. And that's when it resumes what was never forgotten, only asleep. On certain nights, you are taken to scenes that seem to test you. Places that ache, faces that confront you, choices that feel urgent. They are memories in the form of lessons. They are parts of you still waiting for healing. You relive old traumas, not to suffer again, but to release what remained trapped. Every detail in the dream, every sensation, a map of what still needs to be integrated. And then there are missions. Yes, missions. Because there are nights when you are not there to receive, but to offer. You become the guide, the beacon, the healer in realms few can access. You enter the dreams of other beings. You counsel. You lead. You help restore what has been fragmented, without remembering upon waking the good you've done. But your soul remembers. There are also tasks of reconnection, fragments of yourself, pieces of your soul lost in intense experiences, appear as symbols or characters. A frightened child, an older version of yourself, a wounded animal, a destroyed place. These images are not random. They are callings, requests for reintegration. Your mission sometimes is to gather what was scattered, to rescue what was abandoned, to honor what was forgotten. And make no mistake, even the most confusing dreams carry meaning. Even those that seem chaotic without logic are pieces of something greater that your mind cannot yet decode. But your soul understands. It speaks this fluid language. It knows that each dream is a subtle field of work. You sleep, but you continue to act. And the results of these missions are not measured in words, but in sensations. The lightness upon waking, the unexplainable emotion brought on by a detail or a deep silence, as if something sacred had just happened. Perhaps your greatest service to humanity happens when no one is watching, not even you. And in certain dreams, you are the one guiding others. The labyrinth of the mind that never sleeps. The body may sleep, but the mind never fully goes silent. It keeps working even when you think you've shut down. Between deep cycles and dream phases, it sweeps through memories, reorganizes emotions, dissolves patterns, or worse, repeats them. Sleep isn't just a refuge, it's a mirror. And sometimes what it reflects is what you've been avoiding. You felt it, waking up tired even after hours of sleep, as if you spent the whole night fighting something you can't remember, as if you walked through a maze with no exit. That maze is real. It lives inside you. It's made of unfinished thoughts, unprocessed pain, unacknowledged fears. And when you sleep, it lights up like a pulsing hologram. Inside it, every corridor is an idea you once had but never completed. Every wall, a denied emotion. Every shadow, a version of yourself left behind. And sometimes, without realizing it, you get lost in this tangle of inner symbols. You relive old arguments, repeat decisions you swore you'd never make again, feel anger, shame, desire, as if it were all real, because it is. The unconscious doesn't distinguish reality from imagination. To it, everything you feel is happening. And that's why the labyrinth holds power. But not everything there is pain. There are hidden treasures too. In a forgotten corner of your mind, there's a childhood memory that still shines. In another, a moment of courage you overlooked. A gesture of forgiveness that changed everything, and that you revisit without knowing why. This labyrinth can be a prison or a portal. It depends on how you enter it. It depends on the light you carry as you walk through. And if anything is more mysterious than the images that appear in dreams, it's the versions of you that show up there. Sometimes, you see yourself differently. Older, younger, of another gender, another time, or more awake. These aren't just variations of imagination. They're clues, fragments of other timelines, other incarnations, other possibilities that coexist with the version of you who wakes up today. Because within your mind, live multiple yous, and they all walk even while you sleep. How many versions of you are wandering free while you dream? The frequency that opens the portal. It's not time that defines the crossing, nor the place where you sleep. It's the vibration you emit in the minutes before sleep. That's what opens the portal. Sleep doesn't begin when you shut down. It begins when you choose how you want to surrender. And no one ever told you, but your nighttime emotions shape the paths you access. Falling asleep in despair is different from falling asleep in surrender. Falling asleep in anger is different from falling asleep in compassion. Each emotion is a key. Each thought, a whisper that echoes beyond this world. The frequency you carry as you fall asleep is like an energetic code projected into the subtle planes. Like an invisible note written across your chest, saying, "Take me where this can be transformed. Leave me where this can be reinforced." You are guided by fields of attraction, and those fields respond precisely to what you vibrate. A peaceful heart may be taken to temples of light, a wounded spirit to chambers of healing, an awakened soul to the invisible schools that train those who came to remember. Yes, there are places of learning. Yes, there are preparation fields. And yes, there are beings who watch you, waiting for the moment when you're vibrating at the right frequency to be taken to them. But there are no shortcuts. The portal doesn't open through words. It responds to your inner state. That's why a simple gesture, like giving thanks before sleep, changes everything. That's why a silent act of forgiveness, offered before your head hits the pillow, can open a path that was once closed. And don't think this is symbolic. It's literal. In realms where the word creates matter, what you feel becomes a road. It's like tuning a radio. You don't change what's being transmitted. You simply adjust your receiver to catch what's already vibrating there. Your soul does this every night. And the more aware you are of it, the clearer your crossings become. Because what takes you to the other side is not exhaustion. It's frequency. You are choosing your nightly destination without even knowing it. The encounter with the eternal mirror. On certain nights, rare, deep, silent, you go beyond. Beyond the bridge. Beyond the territories. Beyond the missions. You arrive at the center. There are no dream images. No voices, no characters. There is only an empty space staring back at you. This place has no shape. It's like being inside a mirror that reflects not your body, but your soul. An ancient mirror, older than your existence. And when you see yourself there, something within you stops. Because here, there's nowhere to hide. You are not what you do, not what you say, not what you wear, nor what you dream. You are what you vibrate. You are what still remains when everything else dissolves. It's in this space that time collapses. You see flashes of other lives. You feel wounds that don't belong to this lifetime. You recall loves that never happened here, yet live in you as if they were eternal. In this space, ancient traumas appear as floating symbols. Images that don't frighten, but free. Because the mirror does not judge. It only reveals. You realize that everything you believed yourself to be was just a layer, and that beneath all the masks, there is something untouched, something pure, something that was never broken. There you see what you are, and what you've always been. There are no words to describe this state. Some call it the source field, others the original memory. But maybe it's simply this, the formless home, the soul's womb. You feel as if you are inside a silent infinity. And at the same time, you feel that this infinity is inside you. Perhaps this is the moment you touch what the ancients called essence. Without story, without ego, without pain, only presence. And then, gently, you begin to be pulled back. The body calls you. The day awaits you. The tasks of the material world begin to approach, like waves breaking on the shores of being. But something has been marked. A subtle memory. A light in your eyes that no one quite understands. A serenity that didn't come from rest, but from the encounter. And when you return, a part of that still shines in your eyes. The silent return of the night traveler. You open your eyes. The room is the same. Same ceiling. Same light. Same silence. But something has changed. It's subtle. Almost imperceptible. A residue of another landscape clinging to the edge of your consciousness. A scent that doesn't exist. An emotion that doesn't belong to this day. You try to remember, but the memory slips through your fingers like water. Fragments come and go. A symbol, a nameless face. A feeling of having been home. But where? Your body awakens, but your soul is still returning. Slow. Floating. As if it's still passing through layers. Before settling back inside you. And there's something in the air. A different kind of silence. As if someone had spoken to you. And now only the echo remains. You sit up. Take a deep breath. The feeling lingers. And suddenly, an idea. A certainty without logic, without source, but deeply real. You traveled. Maybe not physically, but internally, spiritually, dimensionally. You were somewhere else. You were someone else. You retrieved something you had lost from yourself. And now, you wake as someone returning from afar. You wake with a light in your eyes no one can name. With a sensitivity that seems to have passed through veils. With an intuition now guiding your choices, even in the smallest things. You are not the same. Something was healed. Something was remembered. Something was restored. And even if no one notices, you know. You know the night is more than darkness. More than rest. More than dreaming. The night is a portal. A veil that parts to reveal what was never visible. A secret path your soul walks without a map. Guided only by vibration, intention, and truth. You are a traveler. A being who crosses realities every night, with the ease of someone who has done so for millennia, even without remembering, even without knowing. Maybe everything you feel upon waking, that intuition, that longing, that nameless hope, is your soul's voice, trying to remind you of what it lives, while the world sleeps. Sleep is not rest. It is crossing, and each night you pass through the veils of the unseen, leaving footprints in worlds only your soul knows. When you wake tomorrow, listen to what has no sound. There may still be time to remember who you truly are.